Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled Simulated Reality with SOLRETA. This is number 17, if you can imagine that. What a number. You can find SOLRETA at solreta.com and also on her YouTube channel here at SOLRETA Ontario. Let's give her a big warm welcome. SOLRETA, welcome back to the show, man.
Thanks so much for having me. I forgot how much we giggle backstage before. It's like coming back on where we can never contain it. So thanks.
I love having you on. It feels like we're just brothers and sisters having a lot of fun. And of course, as soon as I click the live button, you say something that makes me giggle even more, and then I mess up my introduction. So, hello everyone. Yeah. Thank you for joining us here on this beautiful Thursday evening. We were supposed to do the show yesterday, but we're changing up a few things here to accommodate life and some of the difficulties in her neck of the woods and also in my neck of the woods. So I hope you can bear with us here with all of these little schedule changes here as we go. So first of all, guys, I got to tell you something. As you know, I'm trying not to do any shows during the day this week and perhaps next week here because I have people at the house working. I had some water damage in the spring to the house. And because of COVID and because of the delays in material and labor, now they're all here, but they're all here at the same time. So I'm trying to manage all of those crazy people in and out of my house and do this schedule at the same time. But what was funny this week, I was telling SOLRETA just before we went live, this morning when I went outside, I was going to the post office, and as I was walking to my pickup truck, I noticed that the sunroof was open. I'm like, oh no, it was raining. So I had some rain inside the pickup truck. And I'm like, how did I forget that? Like, oh no.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it's the worst. I can just imagine you guys too, doing silly things like that. And I was thinking, SOLRETA, I had a senior moment. I don't know what it is.
No. You're far too young to have senior moments. That's crazy. Right.
Oh, but it just goes to show we have so many things going on in our lives, and things are just crazier and crazier and crazier. And of course, we have to be we have to take it easy on ourselves when we make those little faux pas, because man, we are all being put through the ringer. It's absolutely incredible. SOLRETA, how are you? We haven't seen you in a week or two as well. Yeah. You've had some weird things happening in your neck of the woods, and that kind of delayed our schedule
friend here. Pass.
So how are you doing?
So yeah, my best friend's partner passed. So that was a really tough couple of weeks because I was there with her when she found out. So it was just, holding her in that space for a couple of weeks. And of course, a lot of it is to do with the pressure of our lockdowns here and forced things happening. It tends to push people. So yeah, we had a sad couple of weeks. But at the same time, it's also really shown us how it brings everyone together. So more than ever, it's brought, especially my girl group, it's brought us really close together, and it's forced us to really go on lots of hikes. So we've been walking every day, getting out into the rainforest, and it's been a really strange transitional time, but also really, thank you. I've missed you guys too. It's also been a time of clarity from, talking to spirit, getting so many eagle signs that we've gotten from my friend's partner has been phenomenal. And just other things like the door slamming when she asked for a sign, and just little things like that. So, very much the other side is still here, still works with people. It's quite incredible to witness and see that, and to be able to bring through a couple of messages and things for her too.
Well, my heart goes out to you and your friend there, and I hope that everything is going to be okay for everyone.
Thank you.
Emily says, yeah, sending love. I miss you, SOLRETA, with the 3 hearts. I love that. Oh, and Jenny says, yes, I got pulled over for speeding. Jenny. Jenny's dangerous, heavy foot, I guess. And she says, yeah, and the cop let me go. I guess it's the privilege of living in a small town where everybody knows each other. So good for you. That's good. Yeah, we're all distracted, man. There's a lot going on. Hey, listen, let's talk about distractions here and how maybe let's talk about distractions and how spell casting has something to do with it here. Our choice of language and the words we hear on a day-to-day basis, especially from maybe the people who are trying to distract us, seems to have increased a notch here in the last year. So let's get into that topic here tonight. And hopefully by the end of the show, we can give the audience some tips and tools to realize perhaps when a cast is being put over them.
Yeah. Oh, and before we go into that, I just want to mention we are coming up to Mercury retrograde. I think it's on 27th of September. So really, like, we need to get a handle on getting distracted, and we need to get a handle on, double checking things like sunroof is locked. All of these kinds of things we need to be checking, because it's where we start to see this sort of stuff come up. And my code word for the 2-hour appointments is love, in all caps, LOVE.
Okay, let me bring that up.
But yeah, I was just last night when you were saying to me, what it like. We always sort of, we'll try and go, what are we going to talk about? And just the thing that downloaded to me was, it was really about the power of our words. And it's come up a lot in readings lately. So in Hebrew, there is a sound called P, P-E-H, and it's kind of a spiral. And what this is to do with is about our connection with the creator, with God, with the universe, and how we can kind of channel that through us and how it speaks. It's also associated, I'm pretty sure it's with the Tower card in my favorite deck. So when we look at, what we're kind of building, the pinnacle point in time of where we're at, do we use words that sort of perhaps crumble the foundation, or do we set our words towards, building this new foundation? So I have picked a couple of cards on it, but I really just want to reiterate with this P sound, P-E-H, that goes with it. It really is, our words are as precious as gold. So we don't want to spill any words that we wouldn't want to create. So it's that energy of God in the universe behind. So our voice box, I guess, is that thing that projects, that sounds, that resonance out. And all of our psychic senses, especially around the sinuses, are like a hollow filled chamber. So we have the sphenoid bone that I've talked about on many different shows, which is the hollow chamber. So when we have sound, or when we sing, we can get it to resonate in this this chamber, in this cavity. We can bring that column of light in and use that and vibrate that sound. So we know that, like, sound healing, we know the 432 is a 528. All of these things, sound really is so important. So I think it's been downplayed, and also our speech and the language in which we used has been kind of bastardized in a way. So it's really important that we look at the words that we speak. So I guess when we look at, neurolinguistic programming, so like NLP, things like that, we don't use the word we don't use the words no, because the subconscious mind doesn't recognize that. So it's like, I don't want to manifest $1 million. The brain doesn't really understand that. So sometimes what will happen is it can focus on the don't, but so we really need to be careful of what we say, because we're creating it. So it's like, I don't want to have to go get we don't want to even get into, forced or anything like that. We want to use words like, everything flows smoothly and easily for me, because we want to get into the current, into the frequency of the words that we're creating. So it's really important to really think about what it is that we're saying, and to think about words like, if we're wanting to manifest something, we don't really want to use the words want, like, I want this to happen, because that is associated with a lack. Hey, Josh. So we want to use words like, I desire. So desire has a certain kind of vibration or a certain energy around it. So each sound that we use too has a different frequency. So this is more popular in Japan, where they will look into, sounds of names. So like my name, S, is very soft. If we were to look at the letter K, it's kind of like more harsh and more cutting. So we want to be careful of energy on all different levels. So that's kind of like a little intro into it. Was there things that you had in mind?
No, that's great. Let's start there. I thought we were going the other way around, but this is even better in terms of creating a reality and making sure we use the right words to match that frequency and attract that frequency to us. I absolutely love this.
Especially now. Sorry, I forgot to mention that all of this is relevant to now. So when we were more living in density, which we still are, we're still like solid physical on the earth. But as we shift higher and higher into crystalline bodies, the power of sound, vibration, and frequency becomes more and more important.
Sorry, I'm muting myself because there's a little bit of an echo and I'm trying to avoid it there. Okay, let's get started, I guess, with the cards. And Walter Pale says, yeah, spelling, creating, casting new realities. Yeah, that should be my title for the episode. I love it, Walt. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's pull a few cards already. Do you have?
Yes, I've got a few. So the first ones, I picked these ones off air. So we've got multidimensionality. So they're wanting to reiterate that it's about multidimensionality. And the cards are, so these ones are Sacred Geometries of Relationships Oracles. So I felt guided to use these this morning. And this says, the frequency of multidimensionality activates our awareness of true essence, which is eternal and multidimensional. So I'll just read that again. So the frequency of multidimensionality activates our awareness of our true essence, which is eternal and multidimensional. So I also just want to say, this is where like names are very important. So when I was 4 years old, I told my parents that they'd given me the wrong name. So it was about when I was 21 that I changed it. So a lot of people will be like, what was your name before? So my name was Casey with a K, and it was always, it's a sharper ka sound, which was very cutting. It never felt like the flow of who I am as a person. But as a 4-year-old, it's really hard to communicate, this kind of thing.
Wait, hold on. Say that again. What was your name?
It was Casey with a K.
Casey. Okay, Casey.
Yeah. Okay. My mum was watching a show called General Hospital, and there was a Dr. Casey. So I'm closer to being a doctor than I am the Casey. So yeah, I told them when I was 4 that I was going to change it and that it wasn't my name. So throughout high school, I had a list of different names that I was looking into. She almost called me Skylar. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of soft. It might have stuck. The other name that was picked for me was Haley, but my last name was Bailey. So Haley Bailey. It just, doesn't really work.
I think the kids would have made fun with you on that one. Yeah.
I know. Can you imagine? So yeah, when I was 21, I did a meditation and just connected into spirit and into higher self and asked what my name was. And instantly, like a lightning bolt, it came down and I heard it loud and clear. I just wasn't expecting the second name, Antaria. So when you put those names together, what happens when you start to oscillate? Because this is what we do, like with words and with frequency. My whole life changed overnight. So I really came into who it was that I am as a person. And it was about anchoring these star frequencies and anchoring the frequencies of various different lifetimes and various different skills onto the planet in the here and now. So so I was Casey with the K, which is very harsh, very cutting. Didn't help that was also a boy called Casey in my kindergarten class. And, boys had boy germs. Or it was more they thought girls had girl germs. I think that's changed now. But so we've got multidimensionality.
That's what my kids say, by the way.
Sorry, what was that?
I said that's what my kids are saying. They're in that age now. Like boys are gross, they have germs.
That's really cute. So yeah, I was quite aware of frequency and of vibration from such a young age and of energy. And I really think it was that pinnacle point in time where I saw my whole life open up and change. And also those that would gravitate and come into my sphere and into, I guess, the life that I was living. So, there is that frequency of clearing out of the old and bringing into alignment that which really vibrates and resonates with you. And I actually have a couple of people that I know that have done similar. So the second card that we have is kindness. So we've got multidimensionality, kindness, and we've got the card of transformation as well. So with this card of kindness, the energy of kindness reminds us to be considerate and wise in our interactions with others and ourselves, to find the root of our love through our conscious connection to source. And then with transformation, the energy of transformation supports our ability to gracefully flow through times of transition, allowing the old to make room for the new. which is what we're currently doing. It's also what's come up in my other deck. So the other deck, we've got Choose Your Own Adventure card. So I've already flipped these. Spirit just instructed me to flip these before we started. So with this card, I see this as being connected to the pineal gland. And I see it as a point of creation, but I also see it as two pathways. And I call it the Choose Your Own Adventure card because we are the creators of our reality. So if we desire to choose so, we could turn to, page 68 and walk into the forest, or we could turn to page 27 and walk down to a magical mysterious cave on the beach. So we are kind of like in charge and governing with this guidance. So a lot of this first comes from that pineal gland, that point of creation. It comes from the electromagnetics of the heart. So we can sort of see, if I was to lay it sideways, it's about us and the energy field of which we're creating. Now, what this is leading to when we work with the awareness of this, we have the card of the universe. So we can see here, this is not only is it a card that represents the world, which is like closing off. We see here the light, oops, which side am I on? It's back to front on here. So we see the light coming in through the eye, in through that pineal gland, coming into our space of creation. We see that she's surrounded in a room-like space of green and blue. So this is this real heart energy mixed with communication. So when we're using words and we're using sound, imagine if you put that electromagnetics behind what it is that we're speaking, the frequency of what we're sending out into the world, and putting the electromagnetics of the brain out there. So this is where it's really important to maintain composure, to not become angry at the situation that we see in the world. And of course, that's normal to feel that from time to time, but we don't want to let it consume us. We want to flow this Tantra Kundalini energy, just like we see in this picture. We want to utilize that for good. And we can see here on the bottom that it's building a mansion. It's literally building the fabric of the third dimensional reality. We see right in the middle.
I'm trying to bring you closer. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So we also have a bit of Saturn energy come up with these two cards. Now, what's interesting is, so this is the other card that has Saturn. We've got the card of strife. This is Five of Wands. This sometimes can be like about conflict. This is also representing the instability of what we see in this current third dimensional paradigm. And that is coming to what we would say is like an end phase. So we need to also start setting up the energy for the new frequency, the new dimensions that we're shifting into. But what's happening right now, the words that are being spoken every day on MSM, on the radio, in conversations, out the front of cafes, because, over here we're still in lockdown. The words that are being spoken, and when we take it on, we're taking it on as our reality. So this is that spell casting. And this is why I guess a big percentage of the population are under a dark dream spell. That's been my information pretty much from the start, that it's been about that. So the two energies that we see come up planetary-wise from here are Saturn. So Saturn is kind of the planet that governs the government, or is about corporation. It's about constriction and control. So it's really important that we look at the Saturn retrograde that we're in right now, because this is the opportunity to overcome this, to rewrite what our rules are. Do these rules, regulations make sense to us? So we've got, I think, about until the 8th of October to really work with this Saturn moving backwards, because it means that those that have been speaking, those that have been in power, we're really looking at it introspectively from an internal point of view. Does what they say, does the laws and everything that they create, does that make sense to me? Is that logical? This is the kind of frequency. So we need to start speaking words of positivity. We need to start speaking words of magic and literally casting our own intentions out into the universe. So we do have Taurus and Leo energy with this. So Taurus is that great mother nurturer energy. She's sometimes a little bit slow going, but she does resonate with Venus. We also have the qualities of Leo, which is that beautiful sun energy and that sun frequency. So not only is it to speak these words, and also to let people know that you love them. Love is one of the most important things we're shifting into this higher dimensional frequency and state. And it's part of this light that we hold within us. And it also increases our electromagnetic frequency. So if we're to look at it, fear or hate versus love, we want to be in those higher vibrational oscillations is the word that they're giving me. So what we'll do is just pick a couple of clarifying cards around this. I feel like the Five of Wands has had its day with this. It represents such stagnancy. I'm having a couple of cards fall out. Okay. Our cards that have fallen out are the card of the Lovers, Death, and Success. So with the card of the Lovers, it does sometimes speak about like duality as well as coming together. It's a Gemini frequency with this. So we see here that there is almost like a spell casting aspect that's coming over the top with this. And there's someone that's kind of like bearing witness. So if we think about that the universe bears witness to what our thoughts are, what we speak, we need to really become the governor of these thoughts and this language of what we speak. So this is also about on the female's cloak, she has bees, which is about frequency. It's about vibration. On the male's cloak, he has the serpent or the snake, which is that unfolding, that Kundalini Tantra energy. So when we look at the two together, it's not just about speaking. If we can consciously get this Tantra Kundalini energy to awaken and arise, to put in the electromagnetics of the heart and the mind with this, or the brain, and then we use the power of speech, we become this magician, we become this spellcaster. So it's really important to look into that. And what that does, it starts to break things down. We get a transformation energy happen. We get the Death card come up. And in this Death card, there's a humbleness with it. It's not becoming egocentric in, using this mighty power of speech and different things. It really is like remaining humble, remaining in that frequency of what it is that you're speaking out into the world. We then have the Six of Discs, which is the card of success. So this is like really, it's beautiful things arising out of hard times, but on the physical earth, we're literally changing the density of this reality. So even if you're using it in a playful way, because I think that the way that the universe works is quite playful, it's all about energy. So we want to be creative, we want to be playful. So you might want to take up new mantras, you might want to work with some holy chants. I saw someone in the chat mention the Hare Krishna chant, which is one of the most high energetic vibrational frequencies. If we're looking into words of protection, we can use things like Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth, which you'll find that on YouTube if you type Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh in. Things like this start to vibrate out any negative energies. So we really want to uphold the frequencies. So putting on music, whether it's kirtan music, satsang type music, things that keep the vibration high are especially important at this time. So we want to limit, music. We want to limit words that we hear that are pulling us into a certain kind of created reality. So let me just look with these cards quickly, because I do want to answer questions. I'm just checking what time it is. Okay, we're going okay. I just want to look at cards for if we start to become the governor of our words and really put that heart frequency behind it, what does this lead to? Okay, so I've got 3 cards and they're face down. I'll show you guys. Oop. So with these, what I felt like when I was touching the cards was that for some, it's easy to dip back into, self-doubt, words of, words slipping in without us recognizing. Also, what's important is with this Mercury retrograde coming, it does kind of work with communication and speech. So we are about to shift into an important time where we really, really need to be on guard with our words. But what I feel when I touched these cards was hesitancy around using this. So I'll flip this over. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. So with this, here's the frequency of what I was talking about, of being, unsure, wavering, or in doubt. So it's all about practice. So putting on that beautiful music, starting to feel those energies and vibrations coming in, starting to use words. And it might feel uncomfortable if you're changing something that has been like in your patterning for a while.
I'm not that serious. I'm just paying attention to what SOLRETA's saying. She's blowing my mind. So thank you, Caroline, for making me laugh there. Okay, I'll try to unmake my serious face.
I did think you were super concentrated.
Yes. Okay.
So again, we have this energy of Saturn come into this, and this is about balance. So it's really about moderation. When you notice that you slip into words of the old way, or words of the reality that you desire not to create, we need to kind of be that guardian on the threshold of our mind. So that Libra energy gives us that balance. It's going to be kind of a barometer from when we slip back, but it's not about being harsh on yourself, because thoughts also do create reality, just not as powerfully as words. And that's why media is used to communicate these things. And I'm sure you've all seen like where news reporters have read the same script across the world, across every single station, word for word, spellcasting the same thing. So this is where we do need to be that guardian on the threshold of the mind. With this one, 3 of Swords, it's traditionally seen as a love heart with 3 swords going through it. So sometimes it can represent a third-party situation. Do we want that third-party situation of whether it's government, whether it's like other regulating bodies or things that are governed by Saturn that are trying to keep us to color within the lines? Or do we want to like get the most beautiful, pencils out and textures and start to draw this new creation of what we wish and desire to come into the world? So with this for me, this yellow flower in the center, yellow is always about study, education, and learning for me. And with this part of where it's situated is about the throat chakra. So it's really interesting because that's what I talk about with this card, representing the words and what we create. Traditionally it is like more the heart in the other deck of cards. To me, Spirit always talks about words and talks about throat with this card. So really interesting that it's still, even though we're looking into the positive tense of using these words and using it to create positive things, we've still got a little bit of, it's going to take a while to shift into being fully conscious and fully cognizant of this. And it's something that will be forever ongoing with life while we're in a third dimensional reality. Right. So we have the card of Valor or Valor, which represents sort of illusionary states. This is a 7 of Wands. This is asking you to have faith in the unseen. It's about shattering illusions too. Now, this is on a spiritual level. It's Mars and Leo, so it's quite strong. It's the planet that governs war, but it's Leo, it's leadership with this. So, become the leader in the spiritual direction and the spiritual narrative, and it leads to the card of happiness. Look how abundant this is. This is about it's about things coming into completion. It's very much like feeling filled up, because when we look at the reality of what it is that we truly need and desire on the earth, there's not too much. It's more like on a physical level, shelter, food, warmth. But when we look at it on an emotional level, a lot of it is centered around love. It's centered around connection. It's centered around kindness. It's centered around feeling understood, feeling heard. So not only do we need to pay attention to the words that we're speaking, we need to pay attention to how we're listening. Are we listening with our hearts? Are we like really hearing on a deep level? Are we understanding and having that energy oscillation and exchange between the people in our lives? Because at the end of the day, and this is also that thing upon, the reflection of losing a loved one too, we really look into what matters on the physical earth. And what's interesting, and I can just feel his presence with me, of my friend, is it really is love is that one thing that matters. So there's never too much of bringing that into the world and feeling that we can convey that to others. It's also really speaking it from the heart and speaking it from that special part of our mind as well. Yeah. With this card of happiness, It represents that abundance, that flow. It's the opposite of Saturn. It's Jupiter. It's growth. It's expansion. There's a Piscean kind of like flow energy that goes with this too. And we see that it's light coming out of beautiful golden lotuses. So that's a little bit of what can happen when we actually use that intentionality and put the power of words behind it. We start to break spells.
That's very powerful stuff. I love it. Wow. So talking about having a loving, great energy and voice, everybody's commenting on your voice here. And Villa said, oh, she's like a cup of cocoa on a cold evening. Oh. Like you're like a warm blanket.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, great comments from everyone. Okay, Daughters of Lilith. She says, can I have a reading? Sure. Put your question in high caps in the window now, and we'll try to get to your questions here. We have about 30 minutes left in the show, or 25 maybe. Yeah. So we'll try to get a few questions. I have the first one here from the PayPal tip jar. Let me see if I can bring that one up. It was from Stephen, so I had it up earlier. There you go. Okay, Stephen, thank you so much for that. Ask SOLRETA, when and where will I connect physically with my sacred soul partner? I love the choice of words there. Sacred soul partner. Interesting. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah. And when we look at things through the lens of words creating power, how beautiful is a sacred soul partner? That's really, it's beautiful words, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He got the memo about tonight's episode because this came in just before the show. So
yeah, and
he's right on frequency with us. Right.
Yeah, that's so true. And I do want to mention that. So if just the beautiful comments. Thank you so much, first of all, for your love and support. It means the world to myself and to JC. I do have free meditations that are on Insight Timer. I know that a few of you like to use them to go to sleep. So I have binaural beats in the background, so it puts you more into a theta state as well, rather than an active mind state. So are we picking cards for Stephen?
Yes, and I just want to show the audience here your free meditation.
Thank you.
So let me bring that.
Yeah, so that's on my website. And if anyone's using Insight Timer, the meditation app, they're also on there. I think there's a couple on Spotify as well.
Okay. So there you go, guys. I put the link in the live chat for you guys as well. And for people who want to book a reading with SOLRETA, the coupon code for the Beyond Mystic audience tonight is LOVE. So LOVE.
And that's for the 2-hour sessions.
For the 2-hour
session. So it'll be $30 off 2-hour session.
Okay, that's very good. Okay. All right. So let's get back to Stephen. Let me read that one more time so we get the frequency just right for the cards. Stephen, ask SOLRETA, when and where will I connect physically with my sacred soul partner?
Okay, so I've got the cards face down. So the energy that I felt straight away, I actually felt this really beautiful, clear energy with him. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of power that you hold within you. And what I would say is this power, I feel that it vibrates out with the universe. So I feel you're in this very calm, collected state with working with calling this frequency in, but I'm seeing you sort of, I guess, like within the home or within like this space calling in. And while that's beautiful, we need to take that frequency out. We need to open that up for others to see it. So also remembering that we can call things in on a spiritual level, but we need to put ourselves in physical positions or places, or whether it's like virtually, where we can have others come in and find us. So it's really good to, okay, perfect example that Spirit's showing me right now. So we could get dressed up and we could get ready to go out on a date. But unless we actually sort of like step outside of the house, we've built all of this beautiful, gorgeous energy, and we're not actually giving the universe away or inviting in. So I'm just going to say, like, really look at how you can invite or open up pathways to this divine sacred soul partner coming in. I really see a lot of green coming up around you. I feel that you've done a lot of shifting and changing in order to become the person that you, okay, so we first need to become that person that that partner or that counterpart or sacred soul partner is looking to manifest. So when we become that and we really start to think about, okay, what does my ideal soulmate look like? What does, you know, what is it characteristic wise that they would want in me? And when we start to really build and we make that authentic parts of us, that's building up more of a charge to get that resonance. So I'll flip these cards over. Okay, so we have here in the past, we've got 7 of Cups. So I did say, like, you've been working on yourself to kind of like clear things up and to, you know, really sort of get into that state for inviting that partner in. With this 7, we've got Venus and we've got Scorpio. So it's to really make sure that we've moved away from things, that we've extracted all of the meaning that we want out of like old partnerships, old relationships. Look at cutting off different patterns. Look at our psychology behind this. Look at how our subconscious belief systems or thought patterns may be creating things. So we want to make sure that we eliminate fear, doubt, and worry. So it's really going into a relationship through new eyes, or through not expecting things to be the same as what we've had in the past. Because I feel that there's a little bit of a potentiality for some of those things to come back in, not on a big level, but Spirit's just really encouraging and guiding to scrub and to clean out this fountain. So really, to anything that comes up. So sometimes these things don't come up until we're in a dating situation and we're starting to interact with that other person, and we're like, oh, I didn't realize that that fear was still there, or there was still that undercurrent. Because when you're in that new situation or setting, you know, there might be a particular pattern or something that another partner said, and this new partner might not have that same energy or intention behind it, but our body will react to the past and to the old and to what we know. So we really need to start creating ourselves anew for the kind of relationship that we want to call in. So we also have 6 of Swords. So with this 6 of Swords, it really is trying to find the beautiful things that you've had in the past. This is really on an intellectual, on a mind level, and even to an extent on a bit of a psychic level. This is Mercury and Aquarius. So look for the deeper essence, look for the knowledge of really counting the blessings for what you had in the past. So not only do we sometimes look into the negative, but you know, on a subconscious level, but we can choose consciously to be grateful for what we've had, because when we're grateful for what we've had, we start to call in more of the beautiful things. Now, it doesn't matter if you're say you've had a partner that was, for example, you know, not such a nice partner, may have said some terrible things to you. I'm sure that you can still find a couple of moments, even if you take away the personality and the energy of that person. I'm sure there's times where you felt love, or where you felt gratitude, or where you felt like a deep sense of connection. So it's really trying to extract, even if it's like little seeds of positivity that came out of past relationships. So we're calling these things in to start to create. It's almost like a, you know, like a potion. We're starting to create a recipe. For myself, I have a list, which I call my soulmate list, and it's red. I'm actually going to pull it up, okay? Because I've had so many of my friends actually get me to send this list to them. So it's just in the notes section on my phone. It's actually the first note that just came up. So with this, it's written in a positive sense. It's written in an attitude of it's already happened, and I'm sort of writing it as a story. So it says my soulmate, and it's also got emojis. Where's this?
Let me see if I can bring it closer for the audience. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so my soulmate is kind-hearted, humble, giving, a self-starter, a go-getter, has big dreams and aspirations, with amazing sense of direction, business acumen, and follow-through. And this is just to give you an idea of how to use the words in a positive tense. We are both happy and well adjusted within ourselves. So we want to look at every single possibility or speed hump that we could come up against. So we want to call in someone that's well adjusted within themselves, that's not looking to seek, you know, a beacon, or to experience polarity, or a really outdated, outbalanced sense. So I've written things like, together we are even happier. We speak each other's love languages, because you want a partner, you want that sacred soul partner that's able to convey that love that they have for you. So say someone's speaking the language of physical touch, but their love language is acts of service. They're never really going to feel that they meet in that deep sense of love. They'll forever be a language that's not translated. So one person will be wanting to, you know, bring someone water or cook them dinner, and the other person's like, I just want you to hug me. So looking at creating and putting these words into what you speak. So like, for example, physical touch is so important to me. So in that, I've written about, having that same love language. So I just wanted to give an example of this because I know that a lot of people will be wanting to ask this same question. The other thing that we see in regards to with Stephen specifically is when you really start to put these things into place and you start to not only build this up within you because you have an intense energy, you're able to really anchor and work with this electromagnetic energy behind your intentions. So when you do, we get the card of strength, which is about fulfillment. We see here that you're coming into alignment. The bonus is that you're really coming into alignment with yourself. So you're getting more congruent with the type of partner that's going to match you. This is Sagittarius energy. My thing that I say about Sagittarius energy too is why sort of shoot with the bow and arrow and fire? Like, that's what I want. That's what I want. When we get into becoming the ultimate manifester and really stepping into creating or co-creating with the universe, we put our hands up, we let our physical chakras and body and energy vibrate with that dance of the universe. And we literally physically become things rather than mentally having to strive towards it. So when you're writing like your ideal soulmate energy, it really is to feel that energy because it's the feeling that creates the vibration that sends it out to the universe. So I see that like when you start to work with this, you start to get stronger and stronger, not just at calling in the ideal sacred partner, but you also start to get stronger in manifesting different things that you desire.
Wow. Stephen, that was a really cool reading. So that's very on point. Thank you, SOLRETA. I really like that. And I'm sure a lot of people will resonate to that as well. It just makes sense on every level. Okay, let's try to pick a few rapid fire ones here from the live stream as well. So let me start. I think the first one up here, as soon as we put that up, was from Sarah. She says, I'm moving to a new house suddenly. I felt spirits in the house, but wasn't there long enough to get a good feel. Can SOLRETA pull a card for me on this?
Yeah, sure. And I just want to say thank you to Tangible. It was so beautiful meeting you yesterday, one of my gorgeous clients. So I'm just going to read this together vibration of it. So Sarah says, I'm moving into a new house suddenly, and I feel spirits in the house, but I wasn't sure long enough to get a good feel. Can SOLRETA pull a card for me? So I do feel a masculine presence around, and I do feel sort of what I would say is like a watchful eye. The way it comes through, I'm seeing, how sometimes you'll be in a house and you'll see a cat watching you. There's a little bit of that kind of presence. So I don't feel that it's very threatening, but I feel that it's an inquisitive spirit. So we'll pull some cards quickly on this. I do feel that it's wanting to communicate and it senses that you're a sensitive or that you have abilities yourself, Sarah. So I see that I'm just hearing the words, it's felt unseen for many years, this spirit. And all of a sudden, it's like you're this beautiful light that walks in and it can perceive this light. The way that spirit's showing me right now is if we're to look at what spirit sees or what spirit senses or feels, there's those that walk around that hold a greater sense of light or a greater sense of awareness. So they're showing me on a human 3D level, this beautiful light that some hold that are sensitive. I'm not sure if we just froze for a sec. So yeah, they're just saying that you have this beautiful light, and so spirit can see that. So we'll flip the cards. I'll just feel into it. Yeah, they're still showing me that energy of a cat. So I'll flip these over. And interesting, we have 6 of Swords again as well. So you can see here it's almost like a little bit of a net. There's a little bit of an electronic or electromagnetic charge with that spirit being earthbound. So doing things that are like with geomancy, which means bringing that house energy into like a harmonious vibration. So things like using like blue shield or other electromagnetic protection, because I do feel there's a little bit of an electromagnetic energy also with this house that could be like a little bit dialed into positive or like just rebalanced. We can also use things like feng shui to really position the furniture to set up for harmonious energy flow and to set up for like prosperity and different things like that. So have a look into this. We do have Mercury with Aquarius. So I do feel that this spirit is wanting to communicate. Let me just pick a card to see what it is that they desire to communicate. I'm just pulling one out of the middle of the deck. We'll flip it over. I feel yellow. Yeah, we have yellow on the card as well. We've got the energy of the card of the Fool. So this is very much about being just in this open-eyed wonderment state, being in the here and now. It's the start of a journey. So I feel that Spirit is just wanting to communicate to you a little bit of their journey and perhaps of their life. I feel that you can help them to move on too. So things like sage, using frankincense, especially the resin, is very powerful. So doing things like this just to shift it on, I feel that it's an easy shift. We have Knight of Wands. So this is about taking action around that. We can see this beautiful fire. So Wands for me is more a card to do with spiritual side of things. And this card I call my Tony Robbins card. It's sort of everything that we want is on the other side of fear. So I really feel that you help to shift that frequency. The other thing we have is the portal of change. So this is a positive change. I really feel that you're opening that portal for Spirit to go through and to feel at deep rest. So you can do a visualization where you visualize a column of white light and ask that Spirit to move into that column of light, or pretty much, command them lovingly, because a lot of the time they're fearful of us. Sometimes we will perceive it to be the other way around, but sometimes they don't even realize they've passed. So just directing them into the column of white light that goes back up into the Creator. Oh, and she's just written, there's just in the last comment,
I'm holding up the chat a little bit higher to get the questions, so I'm not at the bottom yet.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll read this one. So Sarah's just written, thank you so much. Yeah, I felt that. And an older man specifically with the heaviness. I felt he was abandoned and not seen and just wanted someone to acknowledge him. I have chills.
Wow.
Yeah. And I do feel that it's back from possibly like a World War II era. So there's probably an intensity of heaviness and depression that's also around him. But yeah, just sending you lots of love while you're doing that. And I feel that it's also to experience love that he perhaps didn't get to experience it here in the human state. So send him love and let him know that there's also more love that awaits him on the other side.
That's a good one. Actually, very good. Okay. Ginny Alicia, question. My throat chakra has been acting up lately. Any chance or any advice from Spirit? Thank you.
Yeah, let's have a look into this. Okay. First thing Spirit's showing me as soon as I close my eyes is honeysuckle flower essence. So the honeysuckle flower looks almost like the throat chakra or like a trumpet. So it's to do with the healing. It's to do with, sometimes this is the essence that we crave for homesickness as well. So I'm not sure if that's been coming up for you, Jenny, a feeling of, like longing for the stars, or a feeling of absolute heaviness on this planet currently, can also be the opposite of the homesickness that causes homesickness. So let's have a look. Okay, the other thing that I'm seeing is water, and I'm also seeing just the vibration of water. So like if you're in the shower, just having water run and visualize that cleansing with the throat chakra too. So I'll just feel into the energy of these cards. I am getting Spirit come in on the left-hand side in regards to speaking this up. To me, it feels like a grandmotherly type energy. There's like a wise kind of sage energy that comes in with this. And there's a softness and there's a love that comes in. And there's the words. This is about going gentle on yourself in the moment and not having to put high expectations. What I'm hearing Spirit say is like you're a very high achiever and there's a lot of high expectations that you may have placed on yourself. Right now, they just want you to care and look after yourself. So I'll flip these cards. Okay, so we've got the card of the Devil, and this energy is Capricorn, which is high achiever energy. So sometimes we can be our own worst enemy at times, or we can put a harshness and different things. On this card as well, we have the third eye opened, and I'm just going to read to you guys quickly. There's a symbol on this, a Hebrew symbol called a yin. So what's interesting is a yin is to do with the third eye, and it's to do with time. So there may feel like that there's a quantitative is the word Spirit's giving me, aspect to when it feels like that things should come into play or things should come into being. So this little symbol of a yin, and this is what it looks like, this little one here, kind of like a little fork. It's quite often that's a letter in Hebrew that's contained in different words like past, present, future. I've got a few written down here as well. Moment, until, eternity. So we're bringing this energy almost in when we're thinking about time and we're thinking about things needing to happen on a certain timeline. So this also is related to thyroid, which guess where thyroid is right around here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's really interesting. I just felt guided to read that symbol. So when we look into throat chakra, we look into thyroid, even the pronunciation of a yin is very important. So it's we want to make sure that when we're using words or we're creating magic, we're also not misrepresenting, that we're using the sound and frequency that comes out with this as well. So I really feel that this episode that we've done today, to kind of use this as medicine around throat chakras, to start to say things like, you know, life flows freely, or I flow freely with life, really trying to get more into a Shakti feminine flow energy rather than the Mars energy. So it's utilizing Venus. So Venus, we can do things like make rose petal tea. You could put some honey in that, things that are soothing to the throat. Other things for throat chakra too, mullein, a clampain are really good herbs. Thyme, which you probably have in the pantry. So thyme is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral. It's a really good one for killing any germs in the sore throat. It's also really healing to throat and throat chakra. And it's funny because it's called thyme, but it's THYME, but we're talking about thyme, and we're talking about you know, the governing of this area. So it moves us into fortune, which is all about going to the flow, going with the flow, and it brings us into Four of Disc, which is about power, and it's really about holding center, holding this ground.
She says, you said this to me before in a reading, so isn't that amazing? Wow, I get that all the time with you, SOLRETA, and with Janine. You ask a question 6 months later, and she doesn't remember who. Like, she does so many readings, and you too. And it's like, oh, you keep pulling cards.
Oh, mine's like 5 minutes later. I'm like, what? I said what?
What did I say? Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking for Daughters of Lilith. I told her I would ask her question, but I don't see the chat, and I lost the buffer. So Daughters of Lilith, please put that back in high caps now in the chat. And while I wait to see that pop up on my screen, let's go to this PayPal tip jar, and I'll ask Emily's question. SOLRETA. Oh, okay. SOLRETA read me in July. Amazing. If she feels to pull a card to update me on how I'm doing now. Okay. Or what should I do? Or what actions should I take? Okay. Thank you, Emily, for that. I appreciate that.
Perfect. Thank you, Emily.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we've got some cards coming out. They're giving me 4 cards. There's a softness and sweetness that's coming in from guides, and all I can describe it as, it's really hard to put into a tangible form, but it feels like there's a sense of wonderland. They're asking you to lean into this sense of wonderland at the moment. And it literally looks like a tea party from Alice in Wonderland. So this is about, if there's anxiety or if there's different things coming up, it's really looking at, are we living in the now? So how much can we sort of put our energy, attention, and focus into the now? So they're talking about coming back into this state of wonderment. I'm also just hearing the John Mayer song, what is it? Your Body is Wonderland, playing in the background from Spirit. So they're really trying to get you to come into the present moment. So I'm not sure if you've been experiencing any anxiety or any kind of like worry to do with future, or perhaps even full like body reactions. So what I mean by body reactions is sometimes anxiety is felt energetically. It has like its own kind of like nervousness to it, or like a flutter. So we want to really come into this flow, into this wonderland. So I'll flip these cards. I just keep hearing them say wonderland. Yeah, so we've got the card of worry that's come up first of all. This is 5 of disc. So this to me sometimes represents just kind of like a stagnancy, and it's Taurus energy with Mercury. There could be some stuff going on to do with like love as well with this. The cards that we have, they more want to focus on what we can do and the positive way in which to focus our energy, our attention, and our mind. So we have the card of victory. We also have the card of the Aeon, which is, we've got aligning ourselves with others, and also like to do with our soul group. We can see that these beautiful flames burn not just individually, but they burn brighter together. So this is also about having like a soul tribe around you that speaks the same vibration. So there may be some that are falling away out of life, or that have reached a state of stagnancy, or where there's no longer productive growth, or where it just feels like a mismatch. And that's okay to step away from that for the meantime. It doesn't mean that we have to end things in a terrible manner. We can still have people that we love, but kind of it's where we choose to put our attention and focus in our time towards. So with this card of the transformation as well, we see that we've got Horus in the center, which is the governor of left and right eye of the mystery school. We've got Nueth up the top as well, who is that mother sky goddess. She's the one that we pray to, that we speak our words, our desires to, and she helps to kind of birth and create. So this is a womb space, and we see these beautiful babies down here. What you're creating and what you're working towards, we have the beautiful Emperor. So this is a lot of Jupiter energy. There's a lot of growth, abundance, and expansion. Do not be afraid to step into your power. That's sort of what I'm seeing here as well, is there's a little bit of a tightrope walk into speaking up for yourself, and into learning to close out from others that perhaps drain you, or perhaps those that are taking away like valuable energy. So with this grandpa energy too, he has what I call kind of like a hand of God comes in with this. So putting out this message, working on being victorious, working with transformation, we really need to start to pull in the energy of the Emperor. So the Emperor doesn't bring, how would I say, he doesn't bend down to like all of the peasants. He doesn't lower his energy to order to meet people where their expectations are. This is talking about really building up a strong physical, mental, emotional, the word the Spirit's giving me is fortitude. So with this as well, we also see, and I'm just seeing, Emily said, this is bringing me to tears. Thank you so much. Drinking my shaga tea. I have been the call to the present. So yeah, it's very much about bringing this anchored sense of self, but also like having people that help to anchor and have this around you. So sometimes the Emperor can be described as like the grandfather energy too. So there's a lot of wisdom that comes with this. And we see that there's double phoenixes on the shield with this. We have the fleur-de-lis at the bottom as well, which has that beautiful aspect of higher love. But this is all for growth and expansion. So when you're met with worry or anxiety, see that as a catalyst to moving forward through growth and expansion. With any anxiety, I always recommend to get your feet out on the earth, to touch a tree, to touch something solid that's physical in the now. Because anxiety is really kind of, worries and apprehension to do with future. So we need to come into the now and need to ground. So yeah, hope that helps.
Very good. Okay, thank you so much. And Sarah Gordon, thank you. I just saw her PayPal tip jar, and we had already read her question. So thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. That's a nice tip. Okay, so Daughters of Lilith, she's next. I think this will be the last one here for tonight, because I have another show after this I need to set up for. Okay, what do you see in terms of love and relationships, specifically this Ashleisha guy? Ashleisha guy. Okay. I'm interested in.
Perfect.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is interesting. All right. I would be attracted to that too. So there's this energy of magnetism and there's like a deep soul energy to this person. They have this frequency of mysticism that surrounds them, and they also have a frequency of, they've got psychic abilities too. Yeah, this is really an interesting character. I can see why you'd be attracted to this person. Each time we said Daughters of Lilith, cards kept flying out of my deck. So like, even before we were doing the other question, anytime you mentioned Daughters of Lilith, cards would
as soon as I saw her name earlier, I'm like, oh, we have to pick a question from the Daughters of Lilith. Like, come on.
So the first two cards that flew out just now, we've got Prince of Disc. So, and we've got Knight of Disc. So with this person, I feel that it's just to sort of like really, they're more kind of like reluctant to sitting back and to, how would I say, they're interested in the game. They're interested in watching things unravel and unfold. So they may be looking more for you to kind of take that role, but at the same time, there's the juxtaposition, or there's kind of like the thing of, they may be the one that likes to take the role, yet they're waiting to see what happens. So we've got this kind of frequency going on. So Prince of Disc, we can see here that he comes with a lot. We've got inside of the main sphere, we've got a third dimensional cube surrounded by this fifth dimensional reality. So there really is something deep to him. There's much more than goes, much more that extends beyond the third dimensional reality. So he really is quenched by things that meet the soul on a deep level with this person. But there also is a little bit of, I'm just hearing spirit say cat and mouse with this person as well. So they might be like 1 foot in and then they pull back. So they might be giving you mixed messages, mixed signals, is what I kind of feel with this. With this Taurus energy, Taurus embodies that Venus energy too. But sometimes they're late to the party. So this sort of person may show more interest when there's someone else around. So you may sort of see them step forward or be like more flirtatious when there's someone else coming to the party. With this Knight of Disc, we do see that it perhaps might be like a little bit of a journey, that it might be, you know, take a little bit more of a time. Sometimes disc can also represent, I hate to say it, but they can represent a year or even years. So there could be like a little bit of a dance with this person. Both, we have discs for both cards. So the cards that we haven't looked into, and I felt an energy, because I've got these ones face down. So I felt an energy with this. I need to have like another camera. I felt an energy with these two cards of a lot of yellow coming in. So I'm sort of seeing that this is perhaps learning how to stand in yourself. And what I mean by this is not bending when someone comes in. It's not sort of dropping everything, going, yes, I'm free and I can do this. And how about like a cook you dinner? And how about it's, you know, maintaining composure. And if you have something on, it's not changing your plans. So this, when we look at it, yes, this person's attractive and they have all these different things. But at the same time, if we're looking at it as a messenger from the universe to grow and expand who we are and our experiences here on earth, what are they teaching us? Are they teaching us not to compromise our values, our belief systems? And is it asking us for a deeper level of commitment? And if we give ourselves a deeper level of commitment to us first, we're more likely to attract a deeper level of commitment from another person. So we'll flip these cards. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Prince of Wands, Prince of Cups. So altogether, we've got Prince of Disc, Knight of Disc, Prince of Wands, Prince of Cups. This energy, it must be hard to sleep around. It must be hard to not think about this person going to sleep at night. Prince of Wands for me is about moving forward in heart chakra. But remember, we had kind of the pause in the middle, and we spoke first about learning to not kind of be at everyone's beck and call. This is when I feel that there's more of a prince that presents, that that comes through displaying messages of the heart chakra. I feel that there's more than a potential of just one. So really start to, like we were saying with Stephen, really call in that beautiful partner, start to call in the resonance. And what happens is we can place all of our eggs in one basket, and we can think that, you know, this person that comes in, there's a magnetic attraction, or there's whether it's, you know, they're part of our soul group, and we start to go, they have to be the one. Everything has to be contained in this one person. But if we step back and we look at just how many people there are on the planet, I think at the moment there's like, what is it, 7 billion people, I think, people on the planet.
We're told, yes.
Yeah, temporarily, unfortunately.
Right.
But yeah, if we look at that, it's one person that we're putting all of our expectations on. That's a lot of energy to put onto one person. So we need to step back, kind of look into what is it that I can adjust within myself first if I'm waiting for this this moment to happen with this person. But yeah, I mean, there's a few different people. There's ones that are more earth-like, there's ones that are more spiritual, there's ones that are more emotional. Each of these different guys around you can teach you different things. So I don't feel that it's to be in a relationship with one person at the moment. I feel it's to look at learning what you like. Take a pen and paper, write characteristics of each of the people, whether it's past, present, or future, of what you would like to see. So yeah, oh my gosh, a lot of masculine energy around you, daughters of Lilith. And why not? I mean, if you're embodying the Lilith energy, you know, it's pretty hot.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Alrighty. Oh man, time flies. Okay, Jenny, Alicia. So daughters of Lilith, I hope you like.
Oh, hey, Irma.
Okay. Jenny Alicia was asking, hey, when's the next Tantra and Kundalini show? I don't know. SOLRETA and I were delayed here in the last couple of weeks. So SOLRETA, after the show here tonight, we'll try to look at our schedule. And
yeah, let's
we're due for the third episode here. And folks, if you haven't seen this already, this is on our pay-per-view. Of course, we can't do these episodes here on YouTube. We've tried before, but we were deleted a couple of times. So let me bring the link down to this last episode here. If you guys haven't seen that, go for us and check that out. Okay, and of course, tonight, the coupon code for SOLRETA is LOVE, and that is for the 2-hour booking. So if you guys want to have a booking with SOLRETA, now's the time. And what's your calendar like now, SOLRETA? When are you booked up?
I'm not sure. I just saw a heap come through as we've been talking. I know that it was into January, and I'm also about to move again. I'm just trying to lock in the right house. So fingers crossed, if everyone would love to visualize me in a beautiful house with great internet connection and nice lighting, that would be yeah, so I think, yeah, last I looked at it was into January. It could be getting into February. I'm not 100% sure at this stage. I need to check. Yeah.
Well, very good. So, folks, please do encourage our friend SOLRETA here at solreta.com. And, of course, the coupon code is LOVE. In the meantime, you can view a lot of her nice and free material here on YouTube at SOLRETA Anteria. Let me bring that link down so you guys can go and like and subscribe on her channel. So there you go, guys. And if you guys want to join me again in a little while here, I'm going live with Penny Kelly just after the show. Let me see if I can find my poster. There you go. A Break in the Clouds. I think this is episode 9 or 10 or so. So we're getting there. So that will be at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. And tomorrow night, join me and my friend Jason at 4 for the Wacky Woo. And so that's a mix of spirituality, crypto, and a lot of weird stuff going on around the planet. You'll have fun with that. It's always a fun night when Joe's in town with us. So anyways, that will be tomorrow night. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on part 17 of the Simulated Reality. Merci beaucoup, SOLRETA. Have a great evening, everyone. I'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.